What's up, people? I'm back. Welcome to Life According to Nikki.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Guys, I'm back because I needed to vent. I needed to talk about Spotify Wrapped. And the fact that my phone won't let me see what my Spotify Wrapped is. I'm actually so upset. And I was like, you know what I need? I need to plug in a mic. And I need to tell the void. And if I know people will listen. So thank you all for listening to me. Just starting up at the top. I don't know why, but my phone says that it needs an update, but then I go to the app and I open it and there's no update. There's no update to be found. Now, I have not updated my phone in, I don't know, like 5 years. So maybe that's the update they're talking about. But I'm just really irritated because I've never had an issue before. And say what you will about Spotify Wrapped. I know certain people feel a certain type of way about it and they hate when people post about it. I am not one of those people. I love seeing your Spotify Wrapped. Girl, post it. If you were doubting whether or not somebody cares, I care. I'm telling you right now, I will be looking at people's stories. I never watch people's stories, but I will be watching everybody's stories for the next month in anticipation of a Spotify Wrapped, because I feel like the music that you listen to really does say so much about you, for good or for bad, for better or for worse. I just love to see what people are listening to. Maybe it's because I am such a huge consumer of music that, it really dictates my whole day. What I'm listening to is my whole mood, everything. And I will say, I am going, 8 years strong with the Mutual albums being in my top 5. And I think 2 years in a row that it's been my top listened to song was Lord Send Revival. And every single year, I freaking love sending that to my family group chat and being like, yeah, I'm better than all of you. I worship Jesus more than you. Because my Spotify Wrapped, yeah, it goes to show I'm listening to Praise the Lord music over here. And Lord Send Revival, man, that song is so good. But this year, I really think that I have some front runners. I don't know though, because my stinking app won't work. I was able to access on my laptop my top listened to songs just in general as a playlist, which I think I'm actually just gonna upload and make public, and maybe I'll post that on my story. Maybe I should post it on my highlights. I think I'm gonna post it on my highlights, and that way you can all go on and listen to my entire album of just my top 25 songs, because I have great music selection and just taste. Obviously not for everybody, but for the majority. Okay, I have made countless, numerous, more than what can be numbered on my 2 little hands, playlists for others. And they freaking love it. I do it for work, actually. I have made many playlists for, getting down and dirty and having a little sexy time. Yeah, having a makeout, dirty dancing. Hello, I teach chair dancing and have for years, so I have many playlists for many different things. I have women empowerment playlists, self-love. I have many different categories. Wedding playlists. Okay, I will say, I made the wedding playlist for my brother's wedding, and I got 7 different compliments about that playlist. 7 different people came and told me how great it was. They had asked, oh, whose playlist is this? And then they had found out that it was mine, and they came to me and told me how great it was. So yeah, my ego's huge when it comes to my playlist. I make playlists for Kiera, as we all know, if you have listened to that episode. I make very frequent playlists for her. I just barely made a few for my friend Carmen. Shout out! Yeah, that's my thing. I love making a playlist for my friends and for my family, just my clients, everyone. I think that music is a great way to speak to people, and I really love good lyrics. I'm not just into, I don't know, a vibe, although those songs are fun, but I'm really paying attention to lyrics. That's kind of my thing, is another way to express feelings is through music. I think another career path that I would have gone to in another life is music therapy. That has always fascinated me. That has always been an area that I think I would really enjoy. Not enough to, pursue it because the whole sexology thing is so fun to me. But I do incorporate a lot of music in my teaching and in my stuff that I distribute, like my materials. I a lot of times will add songs or just entire playlists to help set the mood or help people feel certain things, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. If you could go flotation tanks, I've talked about this before. I have multiple floating playlists that I've shared with people. If you want to just be in a trance, one of my best playlists that I have is actually my daydream playlist for when I go on planes, because that is a certain type of vibe. When you're sitting on a plane, I don't want anything too rowdy in my ears. I don't want too loud of drums, too loud of instruments. I'm not looking for anything super peppy by chance. I need to mellow out. When I'm on a flight, I am here to just, for me, suffer through. But I think for most people, there's just a certain type of feeling when you're in the air. When you're going to a new place, a new destination, you look down at the earth below you and you're like, wow, I'm just really just one person on this planet. That's kind of crazy. Look at all these people that just exist and are living their lives, and I'm above them in the air. It feels existential to me when I'm in the air. Does anybody else experience this? I really do enjoy the moment that I have when I'm on a plane and I'm just reflecting on my lack of significance in the world, but also it's my Moses moment, where it's like, we're just one person, we're like a grain of sand in the sea, yet our value to God is like so important. Yeah, I get very like, ooh, religious when I'm on a flight. Maybe it's also because of the drugs that I have to take, but who's to say? I was just recently on a flight, literally last week, and I didn't take any drugs, and I still felt that way. So, you know what? I'm gonna say that I always feel that way when I'm in the air with just my life in someone else's hands. I mean, we could crash at any moment. There's been so many plane crashes recently. This thing could go down. I feel very grateful for my life, for the beauty all around me, and also the privilege to be on a plane. To just live in modern day where plane transportation is possible, that's crazy. Like aviation, is that what it's called? Yeah. Yeah. The fact that planes fly and then I'm in one traveling across the globe. I mean, our pioneer ancestors could not even fathom. There were people that used to take boats that it took them weeks on end to travel from one place to the other. They died on the journey. Like, nah. I just took a 5-hour flight and traveled across all of Australia. Like, that's so crazy. That's crazy. Where did we start this? Oh, yeah, Spotify. Yeah, when I get that wrapped, I'll let you know. But I'm just so upset. I love seeing and I love telling you guys what I've been listening to. And I need to rub it in my family's face that I think it'll be my 9th year in a row. It's my Spotify is gonna prove what a good little church girl I am. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for my ego boost. And yeah, go listen to my 2025 playlist because it's a vibe. I guarantee some songs that I can just guarantee will be on there. Golden by the K-pop Demon Hunters. Huntrix. I listened to that so much. I actually wonder if that's going to make my top 5 because I listened to that a ridiculous amount. Any of my songs that I do choreography to for chair dancing, those are always going to be top. You want to know one of the best years ever? This was hilarious. So funny. Which is also why the screenshot that I sent my family was edited, where I cropped it. And I just sent them and was like, my number 1 spot was Lord Send Revival. And my number 2 spot was Dirty Thoughts. I get dirty thoughts about you. Yeah, that song, that was my number 2. So number 1, as always, my man upstairs, Jesus. Yeah, he's always my number 1, but you want to know what's number 2? Healthy Sexuality. Yeah, Dirty Thoughts was my number 2 song because I was doing choreography to that song, and also because I love that song. Like, hello, I listen to that song all the time. I have great, like, dirty dancing songs because I search far and wide. And the songs that I feel like a lot of people do, they swear a lot, or it's just a lot of rap. And I'm just, like, not into that. That's just not my thing. Swearing doesn't really bother me, but I am very conscious, especially when I'm teaching a class, of other people's music preferences. And, you know, when I'm in Utah, I do not try and push the bounds of, you know, people's comfort levels because I don't think that that's my place to do so, you know? I try and cater to the person in the room that would be the least comfortable. Yeah, you're always going to get people that are completely fine with you saying certain things, doing certain things, listening to certain things. I don't think that those are the people that we need to be accommodating and just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine to do whatever. No, I am very conscious of the person in the room that might not be as comfortable with that. And by putting this expectation on them that they must be comfortable with it, I think that actually is more detrimental to any sort of comfort that they may eventually have. And maybe I'm just more conscious of that because of my career, because those are typically the women that need help the most when it comes to their sexuality, the ones that do feel uncomfortable. And so I don't want to make them feel more and more isolated or make them feel bad for not liking something. Like having, you know, moral ethics in any capacity, not liking swearing and not liking certain verbiage. There's nothing wrong with saying no and saying you don't like that and choosing not to listen to it. And I think sometimes in an effort to not appear like sex negative, we're like, no, everything is totally fine and you should be comfortable with this. I don't think that that's true. I don't think you have to be. I don't think you should be comfortable with everything. And, you know, we need to get to a place where you can just be comfortable with your own sexuality and exist with that and not be, I don't know, freaked out every single time you hear something explicit. Like, we should get to a place where it doesn't necessarily affect you, but just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean that you then want to listen to it or are okay with listening to it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here? Yeah. Wow, this was just so random. Okay, we're gonna stop and we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna talk about what I've recently watched because I have watched so much stuff and we need to talk about it. All right, up first, we're gonna go with the new Wicked movie, Wicked 2 for Good. I really liked it. I know that it wasn't as good as the first one, but I also think that's a tough one to compare because the first one, we didn't even know what to expect, you know? And then we went into it, and it was incredible. It was so good. And then you had the whole press tour, the hype around it. Yeah, it had its moment. And I think it's really hard to recreate or surpass a moment that has already been had. You know, we as humans, we love to do that. We love to chase a feeling, and then we're always disappointed. Instead, I think that we can just let the first one exist as it was, and it was amazing. And then this one, I really liked it. I liked it as a film. I liked the songs in it. When, of course, I'm comparing, were they as catchy as the other one? No. did I, I think it had a better pacing than the first movie. But I really liked it. I'm also not a big musical theater person, so I don't know the music from Wicked. I have nothing to compare this to as far as like Broadway goes. Like, I'm not familiar with these songs. So the big number, my defying gravity moment in the second movie was the No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. I don't actually know the name of the song, but that one, when she's in the air, oh, full body chills. So people saying there wasn't a defying gravity moment in the second one, I disagree, because I had that for that song. Yeah, it wasn't at the end, but oh, it was beautiful. And then also the end song, Because I Knew You. You guys, that one was a little bit of a tough watch for me because on my friend Maddie's gravestone is the lyrics to that song. She was a big musical theater girl. Oh, she loves musical theater. I'm sure she went to the premiere. Like, I don't know how that all works, but I do believe that they exist here on Earth, so I don't know why she wouldn't see it. Um, yeah, but just like hearing those lyrics, shout out to her parents because that was such a beautiful thing to put on the back of her tombstone. But it was very tender to watch that scene and just have those lyrics be sung and have it have kind of a different meaning for me. I mean, the meaning of the song is the same, but to just know that those lyrics are true for my friend that is gone. And oh, guys, it's coming up, the 5th year anniversary of their passing, both Jake and Maddie. I've talked so much about them on my other episodes. So if this is your first time listening to this and you're like, I'm sorry, what? Hi, I'm Nikki and I have 2 dead friends. Um, oh yeah. Trauma. Yeah, we're coming up on the 5th year and I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about this year. I feel like each one so far has had a very distinct experience around it of how I felt, and kind of last year I would say was my best year yet. Year 4 was, I was feeling real good. But this year in Australia, away from everybody, away from home, I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm nervous. I'm also extremely nervous because I'm going to be on my period. I'm going to be on my period when it's their 5th year anniversary of their deaths. So I don't think I'm going to be emotionally stable, and I'm just gearing up for that. Last month, when I was, shocker, on my period, I listened to the new NF song, Home. Oh my goodness. It had me just tears streaming down my face. And I had this complete need to watch videos of Jake and Maddie, and so I ended up actually making a really cute little video. I'm quite happy with it. I was like, man, my editing skills have gotten really good over the years. But I made a little video tribute thing with that song in the background. And I posted it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this year is gonna go. I think it's gonna be hard because I'm just missing home. I'm missing familiarity. My family just left. I was just with them. They came all the way to Australia. I was in Sydney with them, and that was super fun. But now they're back home, and I'm here on the edge of the earth, and it's hot. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how this month goes. I'm gonna be positive about it, and I think it's gonna be a great Christmas. I'm gonna make sure that it is, because I don't want just any Christmas in my life or Christmas season to just pass me by. No, there are things that I can do and good that I can do towards others, especially during this season. So I'm gonna make sure that It is a good time here in Australia. This will be my one and only Christmas here. Mark my words. So I'm going to make it count. I'm going to go to the beach a lot. I've been going to the beach quite a bit, actually. And it's going to be a good Christmas. But we're going to see emotionally how well I do the week before. Because, my goodness, dying in the month of December, just in general, if you can avoid that, I would recommend it. Because trying to grieve around the holidays, oh, that's tough. That is very hard. That's so hard. That's actually the last analogy in my book, my grief analogies. It's one about the holidays. So I decided to write that one because the holidays are just really difficult when you're missing someone, when you're missing multiple people, especially when they're not here anymore. I mean, it's one thing to be on the other side of the world and like, yes, I'm gonna miss home and blah, blah, blah. But it's different when someone is missing from this earth for right now. And that's hard. That's difficult when everyone around you seems to be happy and celebrating. Just trying to navigate that. Oh, man. I feel you on that. Been there. And you should go get my book, Analogies of Grief, The Grief Diaries. It's on, I think it's linked in my bio. It's on Amazon. And honestly, if you know anybody this holiday season who is grieving someone, I really do recommend getting them my book. I mean, yes, I'm biased because it's like mine, but I wrote it with that intention. I wrote it with the intention that people can give this as a gift and it can help people feel understood and heard, but also it can help those family members that are trying to be supportive to better understand how they can actually be supportive and saying like, let me know if there's anything you can do for me. Don't say that. Don't ask them if there's anything you can do. That's not helpful. Yeah, go listen to my episode with Abby, my episode with Briosha. We've talked a lot about grief on this pod, and we will continue to do so. But we're going to see how this month plays out. Where did we start with this? Oh, yeah, Wicked for Good. Yeah, I liked it. You want to know something I didn't like, though? Now You See Me 3. This was so disappointing because I loved the first one. I loved the second one. And I hated the third one. If you've never seen this franchise, let me explain. Now You See Me, the first one, dropped in 2013. And it's marked as a thriller, actually, which I find interesting. That's an interesting categorization. But basically, it's this show about magicians, which sounds lame, I know. But the way that they filmed it was actually so cool. So it's these illusionists, I guess, not magicians, but illusionists. They pull off these heists where they basically Robin Hood, like they rob the rich and give to the poor, and they expose bad people and, people in business that are doing shady things. But they do it in a way that they can't get caught because they use these big shows. They'll do an illusion show, and during the show, they will pull a heist, but they can't get caught because it all looks like a magic trick. Anyways, it's so cool. If you have not seen the first one, that is definitely worth watching. It's just a new concept, and the different magic scenes, they explain how they've done it. And that's really cool as well. You kind of get this behind the scenes look as part of their act. They explain the magic. Yeah, it's dope. And you should watch Now You See Me. Now, the second one, I think, did live up to the hype. I feel like it was a really great extension on the first movie. You involved Daniel Radcliffe in the second one. And they reunite, so all these different illusionists, they reunite together, and they are trying to pull a new heist against Daniel Radcliffe. who is like the evil guy in that film. And it's cool. It's just an awesome concept. The magic scenes are just filmed in such a fun way. So it has been, oh gosh, how many years? That one came out in 2016. So from 2016, there has not been another film. It's been almost 10 years. So imagine how delighted I was to find out they were going to come out with a third one, because I loved the first two installments. So I go to the theater with my mom in Sydney to go watch the third one, and it was just garbage. It was a terrible script. And also, did everyone forget how to act? Because that's what it felt like. It just wasn't fun. It wasn't edgy and cool or interesting. It wasn't anything that the other two were. And if we are just looking at it as a separate thing, if we're not comparing it to the first two, I was bored out of my effing mind. If I was not watching it in a theater, I would have turned it off. Like, no more than 30 minutes in. I think I would have got 20 minutes in and then just quit, because I was so bored and the acting was just terrible. It just felt like all of them hated each other and it was their first day on the job. There was no chemistry with anybody, and they kept trying to reference the old, movies. Don't do that. Don't do that when the other ones were good and this one isn't, because you're just reminding us that this one sucks and you're trying to just grab some money. But guys, no. And then they had 3 new younger people on it, and they were terrible actors. I'm so sorry, but what is his name? I'm gonna find him. He's in this new one. I've seen him in a couple things now, and I just don't think he can act, and I don't understand why he keeps getting cast. Hold on, let me look up this kid's name. Okay, look, dude, I'm sorry, Justice Smith, but I do not find him to be a good actor. I've seen him now in multiple things, and I haven't liked him in any of them. And I think he is the common denominator. He just was terrible. I mean, granted, I think both of the younger male leads, I don't know who the other one was. It's not immediately pulling up. But they weren't good. They were not good. The girl was okay, the younger girl. But even Isla Fisher, she wasn't good. Everyone was just, it was like they were all having an off day all at the same time. Needless to say, don't go see Now You See Me, Now You Don't, because that was such a waste of my time and money. Another thing that was a waste of my time, luckily not my money, but both mine and Courtney's, man, I don't know what kind of curse we have, but we cannot watch a good movie together to save our lives. We watched Jane Austen Wrecked My Life, which is a French film. Granted, it was our fault for just watching it without even seeing a trailer. We just saw the title, and I was like, yeah, press play. That sounds great. Beyond boring. It was just, why? Why are such boring things made? Don't watch it. I know you weren't going to, but if you ever come across it, Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. Yeah, that movie wrecked my life. What a waste of my time. We spent 2 days on it. Like, I got too tired the first night, so we watched 30 minutes, and then I came back to her house the next night so we could finish it, and we ended up skipping a good chunk of the second half because it was just so boring. And then we finished it, and we both were very disappointed and sad that once again we watched a crappy movie together. But at least I didn't have to suffer alone. So there you go, Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. That is going to be a 0 out of 10. Truly, it was so dumb. Actually, you know what? I didn't hate it. I feel like 0 is stuff I hate. So we're going to give it a 2 out of 10. Because there was some elements, I guess, acting-wise. Acting was fine in that movie, so we're going to give it a 2 out of 10. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is the third installment, I'm giving a 4. 3.5. 3.5 on that one. Wicked 2 for good. I'm going to give it a solid 7. I really liked it. On to Wednesday, season 2. I rewatched all of season 1 and then immediately watched season 2 because it's just been too long. I kind of forgot what happened. Season 1 on that is great. If you have not seen Wednesday, I do think it is worth the watch. It's not my normal genre. So Wednesday, for anybody that doesn't know, it's the Addams Family, which honestly I know next to nothing about. I know the Addams Family, like the saying, and was it a cartoon? You know what? We're going to chat GPT this. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Here's a little lesson. The Addams Family, with 2 D's, by the way. What the Addams Family actually is. The Addams Family began as a series of single-panel cartoons created by Charles Addams for The New Yorker in the 1930s. The whole idea was to satirize the perfect, squeaky clean American family by flipping it on its head. Where the typical American family loved sunshine, good manners, and normalcy, the Addams Family adored darkness, danger, the mysterious, and macabre? Macabre? M-A-C-A-B-R-E. Macabre. I think it's macabre, but I don't know if I've seen that word ever spelled out before. Maybe I need to ask what that is, but we're moving on. Anyways, going back to my reading, the opposite of what, normalcy. Okay, and anything that most people would consider bizarre or alarming. But here's the charm. They're not villains. They're actually a loving, loyal, supportive family with just unusual hobbies. The core family members include Gomez Addams, the enthusiastic romantic patriarch, Morticia, the elegant, cool, gothic icon, Wednesday, the deadpan daughter obsessed with the morbid, Pugsley, a sweet kid with a talent for explosives, Uncle Fester, a human light bulb walking hazard, Lurch, the giant butler who mutters, "You rang," Thing, a disembodied hand with major personality, and Cousin It, a walking hairball with sunglasses. Oh, they didn't add that into the TV series. They live in a mansion that looks like it's halfway between a haunted house and a museum of oddities. Why they became pop culture icons. Over the decades, the Addams Family has appeared in the classics black and white 1960s TV show, multiple animated series, 1991 and 1993 movies that became cult classics, Broadway adaptations, modern animated films. And what is the appeal? They're weird, but in a way that celebrates being different. They're dark, but always affectionate. They're spooky, but never mean-spirited. The Addams Family basically says, normal is overrated. Be authentically you. This is actually really cute. How does this Can I read? How this leads directly to the Netflix show Wednesday. Wednesday, filmed in 2022, takes this legacy and focuses it on the franchise's most iconic character, Wednesday Addams, the deadpan queen of all things gothic. The series follows Wednesday as she is expelled from her previous schools, sent to Nevermore Academy, a school for outcasts, and is thrown into a mystery involving monsters, secret societies, and her own growing psychic powers. Cool. Yeah, so that's Wednesday. Again, I'm not into supernatural. I'm also not into anything creepy or weird or scary. So imagine my surprise when I really liked season 1 of Wednesday. I don't know. I can't explain it. Now that's some good acting. Jenna Ortega, yeah, that girl can act. Great series. Season 2, I get where everyone's coming from, where they said it wasn't as good as season 1. Wow, this whole episode really is a lot of comparison of season 1 to season 2 and movie 1 to 2. But, I liked it. Did I think it was as good as season 1? No, I didn't. But I think they're building up to something bigger in season 3. It does annoy me when series do that, when they basically waste a season to just set up a plot for a better third season. That's annoying. I don't like when they do that. But, it wasn't terrible. I will definitely be watching the third season. And, I think I'd even be willing to rewatch the second one. It was good. If someone wanted to watch Wednesday, I'd watch it again. Okay, next we have The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Season 3, incredible television. Wow. I'm so excited to deep dive on that with Taylor. We're waiting for I think it's the reunion show, which actually I think is premiering tonight, question mark? I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Taylor. But we will definitely be doing a breakdown of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Don't you worry. Okay, next we have season 2 of Nobody Wants This. I wanted it though. I wanted it so bad. From the second that I finished season 1 of Nobody Wants This, I wanted the second season. And you know what? I loved it. I did. Again, was not as good as season 1. But we can't always expect that. And I thought season 2 did a really good job once again depicting what it's actually like to be in an interfaith relationship. I really like it. I like the realism of it, the couple, the relationships. I really hated the sister and her relationship. That was so annoying to me. But overall, I enjoyed season 2. I binged it, and of course, cannot wait for season 3. And my full review, or just breakdown of Nobody Wants This, is on a previous episode. That's why I'm not going into it now, because I know for sure that I talked about the entire plot of that when the first season came out, because I was absolutely obsessed when that dropped. I watched it in a single sitting, and that was unintentional, but wow, I freaking loved Nobody Wants This. That was so good. You know, a movie that I'm really excited to talk about is 1,000 Men and Me, the Bonnie Blue story, but I will be doing that on my Patreon, on my Sex Ed podcast, because I have so much to say about that documentary. If you guys don't know who Bonnie Blue is, I don't want to mark this episode as explicit, but basically Bonnie Blue, I wouldn't Google her necessarily. I mean, maybe you should. But she is on OnlyFans, or actually, well, she was actually kicked off of OnlyFans because the stuff that she's doing is like so extreme that OnlyFans kicked her off of their platform. She can no longer post there. But basically, she slept with 1,000 men in 24 hours. And that is putting things very lightly. That is not at all going into the actual story. But there was a documentary made about how she pulled that off and how she did. It was so fascinating. Oh my goodness. And I watched it with both me and then my friend Carmen, who is also a sexologist. And then we had 2 other friends that watched it with us. And I cannot wait to do the episode where we talk about that. Also, just as a shout out to my friend Carmen, she is going to be on my Sex Ed podcast. She is going to be talking about xoxo. I think that's how you say it. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm not butchering that name. Xoxo. Yeah. Which is a very specific type of therapy. I was actually reading up on it today. It was originally from Canada, and then now it's huge in like Switzerland, Belgium, France, Canada, of course. But it's looking at the body, not just like the psychology side of, like getting down to the root cause of something in your psyche, but actually looking at your body and how that relates to your sexuality and also your trauma, and like how to help with sexual dysfunction using your body. Anyways, I'm really excited because this is her whole area of training, and how they do their entire program is through this lens. So I cannot wait for our interview in a couple weeks. That's going to be uploaded again on the Patreon, The Virgin Sex Educator. All of the content, I am making it, and I'm slowly dropping it. Right now I have 4 episodes out, but I want you all to know I have been working very hard, and I'm just doing a lot of work on my PowerPoints, so that way, once my PowerPoints are made, I can just pump out an episode super quick. It's the PowerPoints that take forever to make all the visuals and stuff. But then once I have it, I'm just going to have my PowerPoints and upload it, and then I can give presentations for the rest of forever. on these different topics. So lots of cool things coming soon. Honestly, this probably the end of this week, I'll actually have another episode up about the history of sexology and like what is the study of sexology. I'm finishing up my slides on the history of Christianity and masturbation. That one, oh, I'm so excited about that one. I spent weeks studying for that one and just gathering so much information. So trying to like whittle that down to just a small little portion of what I want to say, has been so hard, but also so good. I'm very excited. I think that one's gonna have to be a two-parter because it's just so much to it. But I'm excited about that one. And a bunch of other things. I think I talked about this on my last episode, so I won't bore you with telling you what to expect and what's coming. Hopefully it doesn't bore you. Hopefully it gets you excited and then you sign up for my Patreon. But okay, what else did I watch? You know what? I think I've talked about everything else so far. I know I've recorded a previous episode. I haven't uploaded it to you guys, but I did record, I think, about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because I'd never seen those before, and I watched both of them. I also watched The Pit, Freakier Friday, The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yeah, I remember talking about that. Yeah, I'm sure I'll upload that episode sometime soon-ish. Sometime soon. That's going to be coming your way. But for now, there you go. There's my recent watches. In our final minutes here, we are going to my phone to the random thoughts that I have written down. Starting up at the top, you want to know what I'm never choosing to listen to? A live recording of a song. I don't need some applause and screaming messing with your vocals. Yeah, honestly, I hate... Do you know how many Christian songs, they're just live versions and they're like 10 minutes long? No. Get that out of here. Cut that out. I don't ever want to listen to a live recording of everyone screaming at the beginning. No thanks. If I wanted to go to a concert, I would have gone. Okay? Second, I have, is a missile a bomb? I was with a group the other night and we had about a 10-minute debate about this because one person said that all missiles are bombs, but not all bombs are missiles. And then this just sparked, pun intended, a huge debate. Because I think in the end, I agreed with the person that said all missiles are bombs. Like, missiles are bombs. They are. They're just bombs with direction and speed. But they are a bomb. That's what a missile is. But the argument that the other person was making was that they are different because bombs are just things that like just go off. They don't have a direction. But then again, going back to the other side, it was like watching a tennis match. It was so fun because then the rebuttal to that was, well, if you throw a bomb really quickly, is it then a missile? Oh man, it was so great just listening in on this 10-minute long debate versus missiles, bombs. Then they got, grenades in there, all sorts of different types of explosives. We were really going in depth of what these explosives are, the different criteria. But I think in the end, where I personally landed was yes, all missiles are bombs, but not all bombs are missiles. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Are missiles bombs? Or would you classify them as something else? Because the other person in that argument very much said they are a different thing. They are not a bomb. A bomb is something different. They even used the sentence, they were like, well, by that logic, what is a plane except a bus in the sky? It's not this, like, you don't say that because they're different things. And I was like, well, it is kind of like a bus in the sky. That did not make them happy. Oh, man. Okay, another thing. Guys, you know what we haven't thought about in a while? Penguins. Penguins really had their moment in the mid-2000s. They were popping off. If you were anybody at that time, you were into penguins. You had Club Penguin starting off. But then we also had a lot of penguin films that were happening. We had Happy Feet, Surf's Up. You had the Madagascar movie with the three penguins, and then they had their own branch of the franchise that kind of popped off there. Penguins were just really, really big in the mid 2000s. And I don't know, that was just brought to my remembrance, and so I wrote it down. Okay, this one is so random, but I said, you want to know what show I was absolutely obsessed with as a kid and I would watch in the basement? Because we had a TV in our basement. I would watch I Shouldn't Be Alive. Have you guys ever seen that show? Some of those episodes have stuck with me my whole life. My whole life. There is one story in particular where it was 4 people on a boat in the middle of the ocean. They were on a life raft. And they got, like, attacked by sharks at one point. One of them died. 2 of them might have died. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look this up. Okay, so I just looked it up on YouTube, and I watched the whole, like, last 5 minutes. Okay, it looks like there was 4 of them, which is interesting because when I looked up on Google, it said that there were 5 people that were caught in a tropical storm. Their yacht sank, but it looks like there was only 4 people on the raft, and they were in shark-infested waters, and then 2 of the guys on the raft kind of went insane from thirst and stuff, and then jumped in the water and then were eaten by sharks. But a man and a woman survived after 5 days, and they had 0 medical equipment, like nothing, because, I don't know, there was, it's crazy circumstances on this show. But yeah, the premise of the show is it's people in situations that they should have died from, and they tell their story, and then you have actors and stuff that, like, reenact the telling of the story. I freaking loved this show. The ones that stuck with me the most is that one. I think it was because when the guys go crazy and, like, jump in the water and then get eaten by the sharks, like, obviously it's rustling the what is it called? The thing that they're in. So they're literally, like, feeling their friend die. Like, it was just horrible. Just terrible. That was, I think I was, like, 8 years old. And I saw that episode. It was like, oh my gosh. And there was another one where a man is stuck in the winter. He was, like, hiking or something. And then he gets stranded, either lost, or I think he was injured or something. I just remember how long he was just on this mountain for forever, and thought he was gonna die, and it was all the things that he tried to do to survive. It was, like, freezing cold. I think he might have had some fingers that came off from frostbite when he finally got rescued. Like, they had to amputate. It was, like, a whole thing. And then there was another person that was in the desert, and they were, like, dying of thirst, and oh man, all of the scenarios that I watched, I was like, no thanks. No, I don't think I would have the will to live. I don't want to have to discover that in me to see if I really have what it takes and, like, to push through. I don't think I do. I just don't. I give up so quickly on things. Granted, there are things that don't matter, but I don't know. I'm not afraid to, die, so I don't know how much I'd be willing to tolerate. Because death, I think there are many, 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 many things to me that are much scarier and sound way worse than dying. So I really don't think I could handle that amount of discomfort of, like, about to die from thirst in the middle of the desert. I just don't think I would ever get myself in that situation, and if I did, I don't think I would have the will to go on. I just don't. We've already discussed my ideal scenario if, in the case of something happening, plane crash. We've discussed that. I think it's, like, my 2nd episode or something like that. To this day, still one of my most favorite episodes that I think I've ever done. But yeah, I don't think I would have the wherewithal to really push through if it was just me. Again, scenarios change depending on who's there, depending on, if I'm with multiple people, especially if it's like people I love, or if there is like some hope, then yeah, I think I'll be all right. But on the I shouldn't be alive ones, no. These people were just in like the most dire of circumstances and they all had to be rescued. There was no chance of them rescuing themselves. Like, that was a miracle from God that they did not die. And I don't ever want to be in that type of scenario. I already believe in God. I don't need another witness. I don't need one of those types of experiences. I'm good. No. I definitely know that God is real, okay? We don't need to confirm that any more than has already been confirmed to me. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? I think that's good. It's 9:12 p.m. I'm tired. I have work at 7 in the morning. So I'm going to go. Thank you all for tuning in. This was fun. Hope you all have a great week. And go check out my Patreon, The Virgin Sex Educator. But this podcast is free and available for all. And thank you for listening to all of my thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.